Hey guys, today I want to talk about my experience with traditional physiotherapy techniques, why I wasn't getting the results that I was hoping for, maybe shed a little bit of light into why maybe you're not seeing the results that you were hoping for with your traditional physiotherapy techniques. I did traditional physiotherapy with my son from 4 months old until about 8 months old. As they're probably telling you, what I was chronically being told by a lot of physiotherapists was once my son gained core strength, he would be able to then go into rolling over, sitting up, and all kinds of milestones. We were working on rolling over. There were 3 different techniques that they taught me in order to encourage him to roll over. I'm going to explain the techniques and then explain why those techniques were actually making his movements worse and setting him up for failure. The first technique that they taught me in order to get him to roll over, take his calf in my hands and my fingers on his knee, to bring his knee over his body and bring the knee down to the ground so that the rest of the body falls with it. This form of teaching the nervous system to roll over is actually kind of teaching the nervous system to fall. It's also compromising the vision. I learned specifically why this technique isn't the best way to teach your child to roll over in Michelle's rolling over course, and you can learn about it too. She also goes over it in a segment 2 training. The second technique that they taught me to do was they told me to put him in a blanket at the top of the blanket and then to pull the blanket and roll him down. The problem with this technique, especially in my son's case, he had a visual acuity issue that was missed. They never tested his acuity. He actually needed glasses. When you take a child who has visual complexities and you're flipping them over by the knee or rolling them in a blanket, they're smart. They're going to react the exact same way you would react if it was you. So let me impair your vision a little bit. I'm going to put you in a big blanket and then I'm going to roll you. What are you gonna do? You're gonna do exactly what my son did, which was be like, oh, I'm falling, and then, try and brace yourself for impact. You know that you're about to roll somewhere. You don't know where you're rolling because you can't see. You don't know how far the drop's going to be, anything like that. And so the nervous system is attempting to save itself from injury by bracing, attempting to prevent the fall that I was personally creating for him. I did these techniques with him faithfully daily, and I started noticing some very strange and bizarre behaviors coming from him. So whenever he was laying down or whenever he was in any position, all of a sudden his hands, they were permanently out. And that's because I was chronically compromising his nervous system. He never knew because he couldn't see when he was going to be attacked. That was his coping mechanism. And I thought, at the time, I had no idea what was going on. And I was like, why is my kid always got his arms out to the side? This is so strange. The other thing that was a negative thing from traditional physiotherapy techniques was when I rolled him over, it would be like rolling over a piece of plywood. It was like flump, flump, flump. And why was that? Because he was attempting to make himself as wide as possible in order to prevent the fall. I found that the more that I was trying to use the traditional physiotherapy techniques for rolling over, the harder it got for me to actually get him to roll over. I thought, I'm doing everything right. I'm doing exactly what my therapists are telling me to do, and I'm doing it faithfully. And as he's getting older, he's no more closer to rolling over, and he's actually getting worse. The last physiotherapy technique that they taught me to do was to put him on one of those therapy balls, and then I was supposed to tilt him from side to side in order to encourage him to right himself, and that was supposed to build his core strength. And I was like, okay, yes. So we were there faithfully at night, tilting him from side to side, working on this core strength that was supposed to somehow help him go into these milestones. We started noticing some more problems building up. My baby had the most wicked abs I've ever seen on a baby. Michelle talks about how babies don't have abs. Muscles actually hinder movement. They don't create movement. The belief that core strength is going to get you anywhere is actually 100% completely wrong. And you guys, Michelle explains it all in her trainings. movements, you can learn more about why core strength won't get you anywhere, and you need core movement and you need rotation. If you're doing any of these similar techniques, I really recommend you kind of take a step back, like assess your child, their nervous system. You need them to not feel pain in order for them to be successful. In my specific case, I was told that my son was just neurologically compromised when he was actually only visually compromised. The best way for you to get the results that you're hoping for is to show your child successful movements that are not threatening to their nervous system, is not painful for them. With a lot of traditional physiotherapy techniques, they are incredibly forceful, threatening, and painful for your child. Remember, the best gift you can give your child is movement.